Exercise 2. Reading. Read the newspaper and magazine articles and say what global problems they touch upon. Прочитайте статті газет, журналів і скажіть, які глобальні проблем вони торкаються. Мається на увазі обговорюють. Most of the talk these days is about global warming, which means the rise of air temperature near Earth's surface. Earth has experienced periods of gradual warming and cooling through its existence due to natural causes such as volcanic eruptions and variations in the sun's output. However, scientists have attributed the current increase in global temperatures to human causes, primarily the release of certain gases into the atmosphere as a result of industrial activity. A major report on global warming has warned that average world temperature may rise by several degrees in the next century due to the build-up of greenhouse gases in the Earth's atmosphere. As the Earth gets hotter, consequently, the ice caps and glaciers may melt and sea levels may rise. It's time for actions before we are all sunk. Let's become environmentally educated. The National Geographic. Every year, more and more plants and animals disappear, never to be seen again. In many lakes and rivers, fish are dying, and some lakes have no fish at all. Trees are also in serious danger. This new danger attacks all trees like oak, beech, and birch, as well as fir tree and pine. First, the branches turn yellow and brown, then the tree's needles and leaves fall, the roots and the trunk shrink. Finally, the trees die. What is killing fish and trees? The problem is acid rains. Factories, power stations, and cars emit tons of smoke into the air. The smoke contains substances which mix with water vapor in atmosphere and therefore form acid. Sunlight turns these acids into poisonous oxidants which fall in rain. The wind carries the poisonous substances from one country to another and pollutes the air. It must be stopped. If people of the world don't unite their efforts against acid rains, trees and fish will die, and we will too. The Times. Text 3. Are the trees threatened only by pollution? Is deforestation caused by pollution? For many parts of the world, people are to blame for that. The great rainforests of Asia and South America are being destroyed for firewood and building material. People do not realize that a forest is more than a collection of trees. It's a complex community of plant and animal life. Trees are important because they provide home for many other plants and animals too. They protect the flowers which grow on the forest floor, provide food for insects, reptiles, birds, and mammals. They protect the soil from the wind and the rain. Most important of all, the forests are the lungs of our planet. They produce the oxygen which we breathe. Man's unrestricted cutting of trees distributes the natural balance so much that it may cause irreparable damage like landslides or mountain torrents. Something must be done until it's too late. The Mirror. Text 4. Some of the most serious man-made challenges to the environment occurred at the end of the 20th century, the beginning of the 21st century as a consequence, causing the environmental concern around the globe. Widely spread environmental disasters are massive oil spills, Suffice it to mention the world's largest accidental oil spill, the BP spill in the Gulf of Mexico on April the 20th, 2010, which polluted a vast territory in the Gulf. As a result, a lot of fish, turtle, marine mammals and birds were significantly harmed. Nuclear power plants can also bring environmental disasters. Thus, on April the 26th, 1986, the worst accident in nuclear power history occurred at a nuclear plant in Chernobyl, near the town of Pripyat, Ukraine. The World Health Organization estimates that over 200,000 people died as a consequence of the fallout. The whole area was radioactively contaminated, and a radioactive cloud covered not only Ukraine, but other countries as well. Fukushima nuclear disaster in Japan on March the 11th, 2011, showed us once again that nuclear reactors are fundamentally dangerous as they cause significant damage to the environment and health of people. Isn't it the matter of worldwide concern? Let's think about it. Greenpeace Journal. Читаємо, перекладаємо тексти, виписуємо незнайомі слова і не забуваємо перед тим, як це робити, потренувати вирази на моєму сайті. І зараз частинка Across Cultures. The Times, a British national daily newspaper, the oldest in England. The Times – це британська національна щоденна газета, найстаріша в Англії. The Mirror, one of the Britain's national daily newspapers, formerly called the Daily Mirror. Одна з британських національних щоденних газет формально називають Daily Mirror. The National Geographic, тут помилочка, літера A зайва. The National Geographic, a US magazine published each month by the National Geographic Society. It is famous for its beautiful photographs as well as its articles about animals in different countries. Національний географічний журнал – це американський журнал, який публікується щомісячно Національним географічним суспільством. Він відомий своїми прекрасними фотографіями, а також статтями про тварин і різні країни. Там може бути of different countries, різних країн. BP, оце скорочення в тексті було. Trademark for British Petroleum. A British company producing petrol and chemicals. Це торговельна марка для британської нафти. Британська компанія, яка виробляє бензин і різні хімічні засоби. The Gulf of Mexico, an area of the Atlantic Ocean south of the US, east of Mexico and west of Cuba. Мексиканський пролив – це територія в Атлантичному океані, яка є на південь від Сполучених Штатів, на схід від Мексики і на захід від Куби. Fukushima, a nuclear plant in Japan. And now exercise 3 language track phonetics in context. In the context, find the words in which letter combination AR and OR are read as R or. Reproduce the sentences with them in context. Practice saying them in your own sentences. У тексті знайдіть слова з буквосполученнями A, A, O, A, які читаються як довгий звук A або O. Reproduce the sentences with them in context. Відтворіть речення з ними у контексті. Practice saying them in your own sentences. Попрактикуйте промовляння у власних реченнях. Woman. Ви пам'ятаєте, після літери W літера A в будь-яких буквосполученнях буде давати звук або короткий О, або довгий, в даному випадку довгий. Warming. Most of the talk these days is about global warming. I think global warming affects many people's lives, especially sick people. Виписуєте у два стовпчики. В першому стовпчику, там, де ці буквосполучення дають звук А, і другий стовпчик, там, де вони дають звук О, це письмова частинка.